Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I want to talk about why high school and college professors and teachers, why they lied to us and why it's important to understand what's most important when it comes to work, life, and the fruit of what school should be, right? So listen, in high school and college, we are fed a bunch of lies. Primarily, like I mention all the time, do what you love and the money will follow, or do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. So, and how does this manifest itself? Well, here's how it does. Think of all the people that go to college, right? And like I said, I'm not knocking anybody who goes to college or wants to get a degree. Do what you want to do. But think of all the people, so many people that go to 4-year schools, right? They get their bachelor's degree in whatever. You know, there's so many different majors and whatever. And think of how many of them come out and aren't working in that field. I forget the exact percentage. I know I should have looked up the stat before I started this video. But I think it was something along the lines of like 50% or 60%. It might be more than that, guys. Don't quote me. But like 50 or 60% of like all 4-year graduate students that graduate don't even work in the field or don't even have work in the major that they selected, right? So think about it, right? If you're someone who's going to college to enroll in gender studies or enroll in philosophy or enroll in art, in English, in psychology is another one, if social work, right? You know, these are a couple examples of like majors that like typically, unless you're gonna like go into like clinical psychology and get your master's and PhD, these 4-year degrees aren't gonna give you anything. The only thing that those 4-year degrees give you is a to your employer is a sense of like credibility. Like, okay, this person was able to commit to something, because you know how like people, like employers and older people that are like boomers and Gen Xers, they think like that like somehow a degree, like your college degree means something and shit. I mean, it's funny, like as we year by year, like people are starting to realize like that a college degree is like pretty much worthless unless it's like a specific field that requires specific training and skill development. People are realizing like, wow, it's such a scam, it's such a lie that like a 4-year degree. The only thing that it might convey, I think the credibility from a 4-year degree, you know what I think it conveys to employers? I think it just conveys that you were able to commit to something, right? For a long term, because 4 years is like a pretty long, it's not like super long, but it's long enough to give the employer the idea that like, hey, you were able just to commit to something, right? And see it through and follow through and complete it, right? So that's kind of like, I think where the credibility comes from. I don't think they necessarily look at like the exact degree that you have, because there's people that have like bachelor's degrees, like in my company. It's almost like a social status. It's like, yep, this person has a degree, they're educated, and it's like that's kind of like the labels that they use to identify people who are worthy of a promotion versus people who aren't. But like I said, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm talking about school. So school is a freaking lie, right? They lied to us about so much shit, right? So your field that your major, like if it's like psychology, art, social work, English, poetry, philosophy, history, right? If there's like, if your intention is to like go and get like a job that involves like something that you majored in, like for example, let's say you majored in philosophy, right? And you get a 4-year degree in philosophy. You're not like, who's paying people to be a philosopher, right? Like there's no job. Like I don't know a job, unless you're a professor. I don't know a job out there, unless you're a professor or like a YouTuber who like just talks about like, you know, philosophy. Unless you're like one of those two things, what job is paying people to sit there and talk about like Greek philosophy and like Plato and Aristotle and like it's just abstract. That's all it is. The degree it's just like, hey, like you just learned a bunch of facts about something, or you learned about history. You didn't actually develop something. You didn't develop something that enables you to be useful, that enables you to do something, right? Like, because think about it, what is philosophy to begin with? Like, I'm just using philosophy as an example, but what is philosophy to begin with? You're just jumping around with ideas in your head. You're just thinking about, oh, what's this? What does this mean? And what does this mean? And what does that mean? And hey, guess what? In the real world, it doesn't mean shit. It means you're not gonna get paid. It means you're not gonna have fucking. It means you're not gonna have money to pay for food and pay for your bills, because no one's hiring for philosophy. Someone who's good at philosophy or good at thinking about stoicism and hermeticism and whatever else. So like I said, I'm not shitting on philosophy. I enjoy reading, those, Plato has a good book, The Republic, like that's a great book. But like, I'm trying to illustrate a point as to like why it's not going to yield and it's not going to result in any fruit when it comes to like a career. So the biggest lie, and I'm kind of trying to bring everything full circle, the biggest lie that we're told is that like, hey, study something you find interesting, and study something that you love, and something that's like you just have a passion for. What we should have been told is that no, you need to study something or get training in something or get an advanced degree in something that is in high demand and that is on the cutting edge, that's new. So computer programmers, right? They're sought after in so many different degrees, right? That's something that we need those, right? Engineers, lawyers, doctors, like all these professions, that's where you would go to school to get a specific trained degree, right? Advanced degree. So, I'm so mad too. Like, I really wish back in high school, I was like, I'm asking you guys, were you guys ever like told by any of your teachers or professors, the reason you are here, the reason you are in school is to get something, to have money so you can put food on the table, pay for your bills, and provide for your family? I wish I was told that. I wish just one fucking teacher or one professor told me that. It would have made life so much easier. I wasted a lot of time overthinking about so much shit back in the day about like what I wanted to do and what was gonna be the thing that makes me happy or this and that. And you know what? As I get older, it's like, no, what is the thing that's gonna put food on my table and pay my freaking bills? Because in the real world, when you're working, all anyone ever talks about is paying their bills and why they don't have enough money or why they want to get a better job. No one's talking about my degree and I have this degree in this and this is doing this. No one's talking about that. That doesn't matter. So that's why, high school and college, it's like these are the fucking institutions that are making us so stupid and so clueless as to what we're supposed to do when it comes to reality, when it comes to like what actually is like important and what is imminent, right? So, and you guys can sense like I'm really fired up about this because it makes me mad now. Like I'm just like thinking about the past and I'm like, yep, that was a lie. That teacher lied. That professor lied. So I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that our high school teachers, our college professors, these are the people that are supposed to be leading us to the promised land, to salvation, right? These are the people who are supposed to be the groomers of the next generation and the people who are leading us to success, right? Because like I said, when most people speak of college, they speak of you going to become successful. And like even my dad, like I love my dad, but even him, he was like, because he was like a mailman for like 20 years. And he was always like, man, I wish I went to school. I just didn't have enough money. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, and what would you have done? And he never like was able to pinpoint it. And I'm like, dude, like you're not making sense here because you're talking about college. And even my mom too. That's why like guys, I'm sorry, I'm kind of ranting. But when I went to school, right, I only went for a year and a half because like as like the semesters went on and as time went on, I'm like, dude, I'm wasting time and I'm wasting their money, right? I could be working right now. I could be saving for an apartment or a house, right? And I'm like, dude, this sucks, right? And think of how many people, right, are struggling, right? How many college graduates are still living at home? Like, think of people who are like 26, 27 and going into their like 30s, still living with their mom and dad, right? That sucks. I moved out 2 years ago. I'm 24. I moved out at 22. I was depressed living with my parents. I was like, it was sad. It was boring. It was annoying. I love my parents, but like, there was no sense of like upward movement in my life and mobility and freedom, right? So, like I said, if we were just taught like basic fundamental principles and like just taught things that like are actually real, like paying your bills is real, putting food on your table to survive, to wake up the next day is real, providing for your family is real. Having a tangible, advanced degree that is in demand is real. Having a trade is real. And also, if you want to be an entrepreneur, having a business where you're helping people with something or you're solving a problem, that's real. But philosophy and art and psychology and all these useless degrees that we're brainwashed to enroll in because we find them interesting or this is our passion, that is what's fake. So it's really a matter of what's real versus what is fake. And if our teachers just did a better job, or any job at all, at telling us that the things that are real are over here, and this is what you do to make sure that you succeed in the things that actually matter versus the things that are fake and are like basically like hobbies are over here, right? If someone, even if you're going to school and you're doing the things that are fake, I just wish the teachers were like, okay, hey, you're taking this degree. Understand that most employers are looking for people that have a degree, and an actual job in philosophy is not real. It doesn't exist, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe there is a job that does, right? I mean, obviously, I talked about a philosophy professor or like a YouTuber, but an actual job that like, hey, you can submit an application to and get hired for philosophy, that doesn't exist. I don't know if that exists. I don't think that exists, right? Same thing with like English. Like, unless you're like doing it as in like, hey, you're gonna teach English. Who's hiring? Like, unless you're gonna be like an author, it's like, what's the point of doing English, right? So it's like, I wish we were taught, and this is really to like come full circle. I wish we were taught like, hey, this is the fruit of this subject. So when you basically like, I wish the professors were like, okay, listen, okay, it's cool you like English, it's cool, this is your passion, you enjoy, you enjoy Mark Twain and Kurt Vonnegut and Ernest Hemingway and Shakespeare. That's great, that's awesome. But understand that to put food on your table, you're gonna have to get an advanced degree in this, as in like being a school teacher, or you're gonna have to become an author, i.e. like a self-employed writer, right? So I wish basically I'm making sense of it now. How does it connect to making a living? If that was taught, that if everything boiled down to that, we'd solve a lot of the problems as to why people are not like on their way to success and have like a general idea of like what is going on. How do you explain this to the students? How are you going to make this, or if they know, these are the ways you can make money with this degree, with this knowledge. If that was told, you would solve so many problems. Because kids are looking, like I said, college kids, unless they're clueless or living under a rock, right? I mean, the internet obviously provides, in my opinion, that's not even an opinion, it's a fact. The internet provides way better guidance and information than any university or college in the whole world, right? If we were just taught that, you would have way more people on their way to maybe not like all out success, but they'd have a better idea of what is going on. They wouldn't be 35 living at home with their parents, working as a barista at Starbucks, or just, working one of like a low wage job, right? And so like I said, there's so many, the rabbit hole goes so deep. There's so many lies we were taught in school. I could make like a 4-hour video. But I think because I'm trying to like really provide the big picture here, the big picture, when you're in school, like if you guys are in high school or college, the question you need to ask yourself is, how is this going to put food on my table? How is this going to help me pay my bills every month? Right? And when you can answer that question successfully, and you can, and the answer is clear to you, that's what you do. That's what you dive into, right? So if it's English, right? Understand that, hey, if I'm not going to be a teacher, I'm going to have to be an author, right? Or I'm going to have to be like a blog post writer and get monetized by doing that somehow. And then you begin working on that, right? Don't just sit around and know like, hey, this is the way to success with this degree, and then just bullshit, and then just don't do anything, right? So if you're in school and you want to do English, great. You're in school, you're doing English. Find a way to monetize your writing skills. Practice your writing skills, right? And find a way to solve a problem, right? That's one example. Or if you're doing philosophy, there's like I don't know. There's YouTube channels that talk about philosophy. I think it's like the School of Life YouTube channel. Look up the School of Life. But I think that channel like talks about different historians and philosophers and things of that sort. And I'm sure that guy probably, or whoever does it, gets paid to talk about shit like that. But make the connection make the connection between my passion and how it's going to make money. If you always think about that, then you'll be on your way to success, right? But if it's just like pie in the sky, or if it's just super abstract and you don't know where it's going, you have to always ask yourself, where is this going? I'm doing this degree. Where is it going? Where is it leading to, right? Because like I said, you can just aimlessly be going to school, completing courses, and next thing you know, your 4 years is up and you're like, wait a minute, what do I do now? Where do I apply, right? And that's where it's like, shit, I just wasted a bunch of money on these classes. And it's like, I don't have any employment in this field because I didn't ask the proper question. So I'm telling you right now, your professors won't tell you, but I'm telling you, make the connection between how it's going to help you make a living and start researching ways to do that. And when you can do that, and when you can begin that process, that's when you'll actually, like, the fruit of what you're doing will have some like results, right? So yeah, guys, I think you guys get the message here. I'm sorry for the long rant, but I think you guys might enjoy it, hopefully enjoy it. So yeah, guys, that's it. That's all. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.